The Goblinlands is a large region of scrub-covered plains, hills, and marshy lakes. The region is sparsely developed, with a few trails and no roads, making travel difficult and time-consuming, as any journey must be done over harsh terrain. Hostile goblin tribes dot the region, raiding each other for meager supplies of furs and meat. They live in primitive huts, painted in swirls of white and with a foundation of white and blue stones, often found from old elven ruins that dot the region. These ruins can be found across the plains, with most overrun with wild growth or have sunk into the moss-covered lakes. Many are nothing more than a few rubble piles, though a few structures can still be found relatively intact. These intact elven buildings are considered temples by the goblins, who pray and worship the banshees found within. Believing they are air spirits from nakgrog, the goblin afterlife, many claim they are guardians and gatekeepers of their ancestors. Goblins fear death, seeing how the worms eat the flesh of the dead and the bones join the earth. The goblins believe if one's soul is not transformed upon death to an air spirit, they remain trapped forever in the rocks of the earth, to be consumed by carrion. However, when a goblin dies, they are taken to the elven temples to be animated as ghostly air spirits and join the banshees to fly into the sky and enter the gates of nakgrog to join their ancestors. Some goblins are so fearful of not being brought to the temples in time, they will sacrifice themselves to a banshee so they may enter nakgrog early, rather than risk becoming worm food and trapped in the earth for eternity. The elven temples are so important, clans refuse to share, fearing there may not be enough wind for them all, and many will go to war to gain hold over the few temples that remain in the region. This creates the largest region for inter-goblin conflict, but it is not the only reason. Many will fight if the wind stops blowing for too long, believing a neighboring clan is stealing their air, or think if the wind blows upon their backs, they are favored, and those against the breeze are weak. They refuse to wear armor to feel the wind on their skin, fight with hollowed bone flails that shriek when spun above their heads, and see fog as the ancestors coming down to speak. The goblins tattoo white and blue swirls on their body to represent the spirits of the afterlife and try to attune themselves to the banshees to call upon them in battle. Some even scream in haunting cries to mimic the banshee's wail of what they believe is screaming wind, and can recreate it so well they often cause fear checks in battle. Some of the most fanatical goblins are able to imbue their tattoos with magic generated by pure belief, functioning as a control-undead spell. As the devotion of faith to the spirits of nakgrog, the tattoo allows the wearer to control the banshees by will and bring them to battle as guardians or champions. Most humans ignorant of magic believe the tattoos are created by dark pacts with demons and refuse to learn or engage in the process. Instead, they try to destroy all knowledge of the art, executing goblin shaman and, ironically, destroying the best protection they have against the growing banshee numbers. For all across the Goblinlands, as more and more goblins die and rise as ghosts, more and more spirits roam the land and wander into the human kingdoms. The threat has become so severe, entire villages in Lustria have been lost, with the kingdom teetering on a coming disaster. For more information on tattoo magic, please refer to the Magic Crafts subsection in the Exemplar Library.